Shalom Uvracha. So, can a woman get a haircut during Sefirat HaOmer? Great question. Well, let's start with the laws of mourning in general. Lo Aleinu, we should only know happiness. But when someone is sitting Shiva, it's obvious that they're not allowed to get a haircut. It's one of the signs of mourning that a person sits on a low stool and doesn't take care of their beauty and their own body. We only wash for hygienic reasons. We don't change our clothes. If a person were in mourning, they for sure couldn't get a haircut. But the period after the Shiva, what's called the Shloshim, the 30 days or even a longer period of the year for one's parents, in such a case, during that time, a man is not allowed to get a haircut. If it's for the parents after the hair grows and people start telling him off, then the halacha says that he can get a haircut. But certainly during 30 days of mourning, a person doesn't get a haircut after they've sat Shiva during the Shloshim. That's the law for a man. What about for a woman? Well, there's a very interesting machloket about that from the early rabbis from the Rishonim. The Rif says that that only applies to a man, but doesn't apply to a woman at all. The Rosh, on the other hand, says, no, it also applies to women as well as men. They have different sources in the Gemara, and it could be that they even had different versions of the words in the Gemara that led to this argument. I thought once that perhaps the argument could be explained as follows, that is the idea that a person during the period of mourning shows signs of mourning. Well, long hair, unkept, not trimming your hair for a man shows he's in mourning. But for a woman, growing long hair is no sign of mourning at all. Many women grow long hair and they look very nice with long hair. So if that was the case, then the Rif would be correct, that this law would only apply to men and not to women. However, it could be that it's not that a person has to show they're in mourning, but during this time, a person is not allowed to take part in actions that are not fitting for a mourner. Getting a haircut is usually even more exciting and happy for a woman than for a man. So a woman to go to the hairdresser during this period of time, that would not be a sign of mourning. That would be a sign of taking care of oneself, of having a nice, getting your hair done. In which case the Rosh would be correct, that even a woman should not get a haircut during the time of mourning, because the act of getting a haircut is an act that's not befitting for a mourner. So it could be that that's their argument, is a law about not cutting a hair during the time of mourning, so that one will show they're in mourning, having long hair, which only apply to a man and a woman, or is it the act of getting a haircut, in which case the happiness and the act of getting a haircut would be forbidden for a woman, at least, if not more so, than a man. However it is that we want to explain it, that argument comes down to the Shulchan Aruch and the Ramah. The Shulchan Aruch, the Sfadim hold that a woman may get a haircut during the time after the Shiva, during the Shloshim or the year of mourning, whereas the Ashkenazim hold that it is forbidden. So we would think that that would solve our question about whether you could get a haircut during Sefirat HaOmer. We would say that the Sfadim would say it's permitted and the Ashkenazim would say it's forbidden. But it's not so simple. Why not? Because there is one minor view that says that even though the Sfadim hold, like the Rif, that a woman can get a haircut during her personal mourning after the Shiva, during the Shloshim, perhaps the communal mourning of the time before Tisha B'Av and the time of Sefirat HaOmer, when we don't get haircuts, is more strict. The Noda Yehuda, that Rabbi Cheskel Landau, understands the Gemara in such a form that the personal mourning in some aspects is more lenient than the communal mourning. On the other hand, we might go the other direction, that even for Ashkenazim, who say it's forbidden for women to get a haircut during their personal mourning, maybe communal mourning as Sefirat HaOmer is more lenient. Why? Because we know that it's not real mourning. It's mourning for something that happened a long time ago. That's a custom that was accepted by the Gaonim and brought down to us throughout history. But It's not the letter of mourning of, God forbid, real mourning. Those two opinions are found in halacha. So, for example, Rav Avaji Yosef Zatzal ruled that Sephardi women can get a haircut during Sefirat HaOmer. That was the first opinion we brought. The Rif, just like in personal mourning, so too in the mourning of Sefirat HaOmer, a woman is allowed to get her hair done. The Nodav Yehuda is the next strict opinion, that even Sephardi women who would get a haircut during the Shloshim should not do that during Sefirat HaOmer. He says that the communal mourning is more strict. Then we move to standard Ashkenazi opinion, which says that just like during personal mourning, so too during Sefirat HaOmer, a woman should not get a haircut. And that's standard Ashkenazi ruling. Comes along Rav Moshe Feinstein Zatzal, and in one of her responses says that perhaps Sefirat HaOmer and even the 3 weeks leading up to Tisha B'Av, perhaps that mourning is more permitted. And even the Ramah, even the Ashkenazim who were strict during the personal mourning, would be more lenient during Sefirat HaOmer. He concludes by saying that the custom is to be strict and a person should practice that. But in the time of need, they could be lenient. So it could be, especially this year, when we had so many restrictions leading up to Pesach, and all the hairdressers were closed, that if it then became practical during Sefirat HaOmer, and a woman really felt that she needed to get her hair done, this year, because of the restrictions before, because of the corona, it could be that that would be considered a time of great need. Certainly to give parnasa, a livelihood, to the hairdressers is also a great need. So let's summarize. In general, Sephardi women say they can get a haircut during Sefirat HaOmer, and Ashkenazi women say they can't. There are some Sephardi women who would be strict and not get haircuts, and there'd be some Ashkenazi women who, in times of need at least, could be lenient. We should all merit to only have good news. Shalom uvracha.